to Newsmakers. I'm your host, Jeannie Hodis. Thanks for joining me. We are at the Truman Presidential Library in Independence, Missouri with Kansas State Representative James Todd. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you. I'm glad to be back.
So you recently voted to repeal a tax exemption for certain kinds of businesses in Kansas that was put in place in 2012, and it has to do with something called pass-through business. Can you kind of explain what that means and why you felt like it was time to repeal that exemption?
Well, the way it works is when you're a small business entity, you can set yourself up so that you have income that passes through. And in the state of Kansas, it's called Schedule C income. Oftentimes these are small LLCs. They can be a subchapter S. Oftentimes the way it works is you pay yourself a salary, and then there's another portion of whatever income you draw from that business that comes directly, and then that's where it's taxed. And part of the 2012 tax plan was to eliminate that taxation. There's some dispute about whether it was implemented incorrectly, that it was trying to capture or allow businesses to have some money that they could reinvest and then try and build up, or if it's actually as expansive as it was intended. Either way, the budget situation's been really tough in Topeka. In the last 2 years, there's been a group of us who have thought that this would be a fair way to address that situation, and we had a vote on it. I guess it was a couple of weeks ago now, and I voted in favor of eliminating it.
So the repeal, it sounds like it didn't get quite enough votes to pass. Some saying they didn't vote for it because they didn't think it went far enough to solve state budget issues. What would you say to those critics?
Well, we've been there for 2 years. This was really kind of a repeat of what happened in 2015, in which individuals had an opportunity to come to the table, offer ideas. There was a bill that came forward, which I didn't vote for in 2015 because, like many people, I was looking for something better. But as the year went on, as it became more difficult to find more people, and even though this bill probably isn't perfect, there's no bill ever is, this was the right thing to do, and it was the right thing for Kansas. I guess I would encourage them to stand up for what they're saying and what their convictions are. If they think this is an issue that should be addressed, that hopefully in the future, if they're still lucky enough to be in the legislature, and I am as well, we can address the issue and get the problem fixed.
Do you think repealing the exemption could actually generate a decent amount of cash for the state?
Well, it'll generate some. I've seen projections. It all depends on what the tax rate would come in at. Somewhere around $200 million is often thrown around. If Senator Denning in my area has a different modified plan that would be kind of different in trying to allow some of that invested income to still go in, so it could be reinvested but still tax the income portion. That would be a lower number. It's not going to cover everything because at the end of the day, we still need some economic growth. But when you lower taxes, you want it to be done fairly. And right now, what I think a lot of people feel like is that they're paying in, and there's a group that isn't. And when you're in a difficult budget situation, it's hard to justify that, especially when it might be your employer, and then the employees are paying income taxes and the employer isn't. And so a lot of people, and employers themselves, when this was held for a hearing in the House, there was a lot of employers who came in and they said that they didn't think this was fair either. So.
One other issue that real quick, that I know you've been involved in this year is expanding production for microbreweries in Kansas, including allowing some of them to start producing cider. Where's that at right now?
Yes. Well, Vice Chair Fed and State, alcohol issues come through there. When I was here last time, I mentioned a carryover bill to allow for cider productions for microbreweries, and some of our microbreweries also wanted to increase their overall production limit, which was at 30,000 barrels, and now would be up to 60,000 barrels in the bill that was passed in the House and the Senate. So we were successful in that, and hopefully that'll spur some Kansas business. I know that there are some of the microbreweries, specifically Tallgrass out in Manhattan, who were getting really close to that limit cap, and so that 60,000 was very important to them. And cider's a growing product, and it'll give our breweries a little bit more freedom to produce some different things and find a new way to get into the marketplace.
All right, well, congratulations on your bill.
Thank you very much.
Thanks so much for being here.
Appreciate it.
And thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time on Newsmakers.